Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Insipid Taste, and today I am going to teach you how to navigate Craigslist so you can get the apartment of your dreams. Ooh! Ooh! Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. No, probably not. But hopefully I can help you win your whole Craigslist search to just do it better. Because I kind of won the Craigslist lottery. I got everything that I wanted, and I hope that I can help other people get that too. So, a bit about me. I moved to Seattle this June 15th. When I moved, I'd never been in Seattle before, but I already had an apartment set up, and it was great. And yeah, if you're like moving to Seattle, this video isn't just going to be about Seattle, but like I'm going to use it as like an example for like how to move with Craigslist. For those of us that don't just have companies that hand us money to move, like I feel most people, you know, you move and it's on your own volition, your own dollars. You need to be prepared and you need to have certain things on hand. And Craigslist is a great way to find an apartment. It really is. Like, of course there's scammers and people that are shady, but you can find them anywhere, maybe in a higher quality on Craigslist, but you just have to be able to navigate that, and I'm going to help you do that. So I think the first thing in terms of like using Craigslist, was figuring out where I wanted to stay. And the way that I did that was I got really intimate with Google Maps. I went to bed with it like every night. I showed it to my parents. I took it to dinner like all the time. It was like my main bae. Like, we got really, really, really close. I really understood the layout of the city, or at least the region that I was interested in living in. The rest I did not care about and still don't know. But it was really important that I understood where I was trying to move to, at least geographically. And then I used other websites to sort of figure out the vibe of different places. I'm an awful person to describe anything, so I'm just not going to. But no one told me that Capitol Hill was like the gay center of Seattle, and I was really upset by that because I'd be like, oh, I'm looking into Capitol Hill, and people would be like, oh, that's so cool, it's like the hip young place. No one was like, oh, there are a ton of gay people there. That's not a bad thing. I just wish somebody told me. Like, it's a big factor of the place, and I'm like kind of upset by how remiss everybody was in terms of informing me of that factor. I just think, you know, I could have not been surprised. That would have been nice to just not be surprised. But I love it. It's so cool. The other day, there was a man who's a third of my size and like a foot taller than me, wearing like 8-inch, so he was even taller than me. He was literally a giant, just walking down the hill in Lady Gaga's lobster claw shoes. I kid you not. And it was like 5:30 on a Tuesday. There was just no reason for that to be happening, but he was doing it, and I loved it. So yeah, things worked out. If I was homophobic though, or transphobic, I would have been really upset. So, you know, just try to do your research. So after you found your neighborhood, you can kind of like use Craigslist. They have like a filter, so you can like type it in and see where things are. Or you can like type it in and use like a radius and kind of get up further from there. And then when it came time to looking at the actual apartments, I also had a job, so I was just looking at bus routes to get to my location, or places that were close enough to walk to. That was like my next thing. And then following that, I always made sure I wasn't staying in basement rooms, because there are a lot of basement rooms on Craigslist. Understandably, it's like a sharing place. Most people don't have like spare bedrooms, but they have basements, and it's like you can stay there. It didn't make sense to live in a dark city that is always cloudy and rainy, and then to live in the darkest aspect of your home. Like, those two things just would, you would be depressed. It would naturally happen. You would just be encased in darkness. So that didn't seem like a viable option. So once I did that, that really limited my searches, but I was just like I think it's nice to limit your searches, because there are a lot of options there, and you never want to go to people that keep repeating locations. I didn't trust it. Sometimes those were like actual like realtor sites, and that's when I kind of was like, okay, this is your job. And when it's just a person and they just had all these different properties, I didn't like it. You kind of still have to engage with these people because you never know, but don't put too much stock into them, you know what I mean? And you also, if anyone you message, you give them your name, your address, and your phone number, and they say that's enough information, please let us know when you want to move in. Just don't trust it. Just leave it alone. Just no. That was a test and you failed. You failed big time. Bigly. Yeah, so the next step, once you have found the place, make sure it's in a location that you like, is or like kind of in a location that you like, is to formulate your email. And this is so important. You cannot undermine the importance of the email, because it's their first impression of you. You know, they're gauging to see if they want to live with you as much as you're gauging to see if you want to live with them. The way that I always did it was I gave a little short blurb about myself. I try to be give as least generic properties about myself as possible. I also would include just like a little like, oh, fun things about me. I like movies and like. That's all I like. I just like movies. That's why I'm always on YouTube. So I was like, be like, these are my favorite movies. Let me know, like, what are yours? And then I'd also like ask more serious questions, like, oh, is there a grocery store? Are you guys by any bus routes to get to downtown or wherever you need to go? You know, just like little aspects of your daily living, and make sure that you get what you want from your location, because you're gonna live there for a while and you don't want it to be terrible. Right? Yeah, so let's say you email the person. Oh my goodness. And always, if they ask you questions, answer those questions, answer them to the best of your ability. Like really like get in deep with your like personal emotions and stuff. Like, so the girl that I live with now, I done her like an essay about myself. She asked so many questions and I answered every single one, and I gave like impeccable detail because I really want to live here. And now I do. It also helped if like, sometimes people have like language requirements for some reason. Not requirements, but they're like, oh, if you speak this language, like let me know. I would definitely hit on that, especially if you know the language. Like ours was German, so I like wrote my subject line in German, and then I wrote the first line in German, and then the rest was in English because my German is terrible. But I know German. So really use any personality traits you see in there that match your own, or that can kind of match your own. I highly recommend it, because they want someone that they don't hate to live with them. Once you have sent your email, you want to connect with this person, so social media stalk them if you can get their full name. Or just ask, like, can I get your Instagram handle? Or don't. I think Instagram handle is probably the best one, just because like that's what people post and it's like public and you can like watch them and stuff. Jill shared our Instagram handles. She actually found me on LinkedIn, which I like didn't even think to look at hers. So wonderful. Because you want to live with someone who's real, like a real person, and they're not gonna lie on their LinkedIn unless they make a fake LinkedIn to live in your apartment and it's all just a hoax, which is like way more effort than I think people are willing to put in. But who knows? Who knows? You know, she gave me a tour twice, and every time I thought, this is a scam. Every time. It's like, whose apartment is this? Is this hers? It's like, is this a warehouse? Is she in a showroom? Like, the worst thoughts. Just always working in like the worst case scenario, but the likelihood of it was so little, and we talked twice and was for like hours. It works. So connect on social media. I like to do the Skype or FaceTime call tours, because I wasn't gonna fly out here to like look at an apartment when we have phones that can look at the apartment for me. So that's what we did, and it was furnished. It was great, which is what I needed, because like I said, I'm moving across the country. I'm not carrying everything across the country, and I don't want to be just rolling in debt for a while in terms of furniture. I want to spend that money on other things, so that's what I did. Still in debt. It's great. Speaking of, make sure that you have, I want to say like 6 months of living expenses in your savings account, and that includes the like 3 months of rent that you're going to need to pay, and then, you know, that other 3 is for like buying stuff that you need, honestly. If you're living with somebody else, that really limits your costs, or like shrinks them, because you don't probably have to get like community things and whatever. If you're really lucky, they will already have furniture in the room. just have money on hand, and a lot of it too, when you move, because you're gonna need it. So yeah, that is my video on how to use Craigslist to move. That's how I used it. This video had so much information, I didn't even want to make it funny, so I didn't. Sorry. Yeah, it's all about how to move to Seattle using Craigslist, or any city, really. Moral of the story is understand where you want to live, like really understand it, or really try to understand your neighborhood, really assess the needs that you have, whether that's proximity to a grocery store, or proximity to a liquor store, or just proximity to other human beings. Like, really figure out what you want, and then use Craigslist to find what you want. And I like it because automatically the costs are gonna be cheaper than using something like apartments.com or whatever. So this is just for cheap people that don't want to spend a lot of money but still want to live in a nice place. And make sure you live in a nice place, honestly. Like, some people are gonna have like really high rent, and don't be afraid to negotiate. Like, you may as well, if they're gonna give you like a crappy room, you may as well say, I don't think $1,000 for this room plus utilities is necessary, because looking at like the price range, this isn't it. And if you have the time and ability to do that, I highly recommend that you do. And it's a timely process. I did all of this after I graduated, so I wasn't doing anything, and I was just waiting for my job to start, which means I was just on Craigslist every single day. There were always new apartments. I was always checking my email. I was just really, really vigilant about it. But if you have a job and you're trying to do this, it will be hard. Just, it's a personal process. You need to figure out how long you want to spend on it, how much time you can spend on it, when you want to have it done by. Like, I wanted to have my apartment at least 2 weeks before I moved there, just so I didn't want to like think about it anymore. If you have any tips or tricks on how to use Craigslist, please write them in the comments below.